Welcome to another episode of Millennial Investing Explained. Here's today's question. In one of your recent podcast episodes, you talked about how investors should get started investing with options early in their career, even if they're brand new. Talk to us about that idea a little bit. That really piqued my interest because even though I trade options myself, I never would have thought to recommend that to someone who is a new investor. And so I'd love to hear why you think that is.
To me, it's really easy because look, if I believe that options are one of the supreme ways in which you can control risk, control your investment, take a non-directional or, multi-directional approach to the markets, then why wouldn't I think that somebody should start it early, right? Like I think about like my kids, and so like our youngest daughter, she just actually started kindergarten today, literally the day we're recording this. But, she had an interest a couple of months ago in real estate. And so like my wife does all the real estate buying for us. And, we own a handful of rental properties. And my daughter had an interest in it. And I could have just said, well, it's like a grown-up thing, like you'll do it later on. I thought to myself, like, that's a stupid response and like so ignorant. Like, why can't she start learning about this even on her level right now? Like, why can't she take some money from her piggy bank and start to like invest it into like a property? So she actually helped us buy a property and she put $22.13 in. And now every month in the mail, like we secretly, and if she listens to this later on, I'll be totally like found out. But like we secretly put like $1 in the, the mailbox and it's in an envelope and it says Molly on it. So like she understands like those mechanics of how you should do it. So to get back to the real like question, like I think that if you're a beginner trader, you have so much time ahead of you. It would only work to your benefit to start trading early, because if you can learn the mechanics now while you don't have your life to gamble with, then you'll be much better equipped in the future when you actually have a family and it matters. When you have kids and it matters if you blow up your account or not. And, a lot of people like they get into options trading late and they don't realize that they're literally on borrowed time. If you get into options trading and you're, 60 or 70 years old, no disrespect, but you just don't have that much time left, And so like the quicker you can get started, the easier it'll be for you to increase your trade count, which ultimately helps with your ability to generate successful income. And, so I think the earliest you can start, like all investing, the better.
And if you do blow up your account, it's likely smaller when you're just getting started than it is 30 years into your investing career.
Yeah, I would hope it would hurt just as much, honestly. Like I would hope it would hurt like to your ego just as much. You understand what that feels like. But at the same time, like if you blow up $1,000 account, which should not be the mission and goal to like, rodeo cowboy this thing and throw $1,000 in and just play, but you should have some sort of like system and process in place and learn how the mechanics and the process and the mechanisms of the market work. And what better way to do it than to jumping into options trading, which you can do on a much more controlled and risk-defined basis. So I think when people say, well, you should start with stocks. Well, tell me that to someone who invested in Tesla 6 months ago and Tesla's totally tanked, right? Like they lost probably just as much money in Tesla as they could ever have lost in a simple option strategy with defined risk.
And if you can't trade a small account, then having a big account's not going to help you either, right?
Never going to help you. Yeah, I was going to say, I love saying that. Like people always think that money is the issue. If they only had more money to trade. And I always tell people like a bigger account is just going to be a recipe for you losing money faster. So that's why I actually hate when people start with a little amount and they literally email and they say, well, I'm just going to try it out. I'm just going to gamble. They don't say gamble. It's just code words, things like I'm going to try strategies. I'm going to, see what works for me. I'm going to test some things out. It's all code word for gamble. And I usually just tell people like quit while you're ahead, because you're basically just, setting yourself up psychologically for failure already.
That's all for this episode of Millennial Investing Explained. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, or subscribe to our YouTube channel to get even more free content.